Hello, Raymond fans. ELR 360 Live today. Welcome. Starting a live video. Hello. Hello, Donnell. Hello, everybody. Let me plug in my microphone. See. All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully I sound good. Gil, hello. Karen, hello. That was a New Jersey accent I said, Karen, which is always enjoyable. So today is for those of you not in the United States, today is a big football day, American type of football. It's called the playoffs today. And so there are a lot of people watching those games. It's a very, very big day. It's the beginning. Hello, Mary. Hello. Yes, for those of you in Scotland, in Australia, in England, I'm assuming that today is not a big football day. So let's say hello to a couple of people. We're going to recount Ray's surprise visit. Hello, Michelle. Yes, go Bills. Bills did well today. Very good. Hello, Susan. Hello, Bobby in Hawaii, where I'm assuming it's warm. Hopefully in the UK, it's not too cold. I know on the East Coast, it is very cold. Oh, yes, there we go. Where are you in New Jersey? Jen number 9. Hello, hello, Jennifer. Hello, everybody. How am I sounding, Gil? All right. Is Ray good at football in real life? Ray is a good athlete. You know, unlike baseball, where you can play softball and really play football. Here you have touch football, so you don't really you don't play as much. Let's just call it amateur, for lack of a better thing. Lack of a better phrase. So is Ray good at football? Yes, Ray is good at football. But do they play much? No. Do we play and I think I've talked about the show business softball league where we would play against other TV shows. And also before Ebers Raymond, we would play Ray, myself, and the guy, Tom Hertz, who created Rules of Engagement. We would play softball in Central Park for the improv team. So let's talk about, before we are going to get to the end, I'm very excited to see this. And now I know it's backwards for you guys, but I love you from way back when. That actually says August 7th because that was the table read. We're going to take a look inside of this script at the never before seen photos from the wardrobe department. And I hesitated because when I say never before seen, somebody saw them when they took them. But they have not been seen, my guess is, since, because there's no real reason. For them to peek back into those scripts. All right, thank you. Thumbs up on the sound. Yes, hi, Karen. I wanted to share some pics. You took a few of your dad's jazz records. I have tweeted the pics and tagged you. You can find me at OK. I will look for those. And a lot of times, I looked recently, and I think I had 87 messages that were being sent to me, and so I have to look through them some more. So let's finish up the talk about what I posted about on the She's the One episode. So Ray read a comment, which was great, and he then recounted when he visited that he almost passed out because he was so intensely focused. And I want to tell you the exact date. So Ray's brother was single, just like in the show, and he was a policeman, just like in the show, and he told Ray about this date. Now, he had been married and was divorced, just like in the show. And yes, Michael, your comment, great. I'm glad Ray spotted it. I didn't even know Ray could see the comments from where he was seen, so that's great. You can watch Ray's surprise visit by just going back on this Instagram page, and you'll just see it. All of the interviews are there for you to watch at any time. your pug named Peanut literally watches the show with you. Emma, your pug name, you have a pug named Peanut. Nice. So Ray's brother is like that character in that he's divorced. He was looking to get into a long-term relationship. And on one of these dates that he was on, he said that he met a girl. It was at a club in New York. He went back to her apartment, and when he went into her bedroom, it was filled with snakes, including the tub and aquariums everywhere filled with snakes. And so he, being a normal person, was like, oh, maybe this is not long-term material. And so he decided he was going to leave. And she, when she came in, did not want him to leave. So basically what happened was she said, either you are going to sleep with me or I will stab you. And so, which is it's not a good come on line, I have to say, for a man or a woman. And so he, even though he was a policeman and he had an ankle holster weapon, he went out the fire escape. Now, that brilliant ending that Phil wrote where Robert is having that conversation with her hanging out the window, that was all Phil, obviously, because he wrote the second half, and it was great. It was great to watch Robert coming to that conclusion that his brother Ray was actually correct in warning him. And that's actually kind of a very, if you're going to structure a movie, and if you have any of your characters seeing something and nobody else believing him and the audience seeing it, it's a great ride to go on. And that was the She's the One episode. Let me go back here to these questions. So I hope that's a kind of scary story. And again, I wrote about it, but Ray, Kevin, James, and I were in the writer's room of Everett Raymond, and we were thinking of a movie idea for Ray and Kevin, and we were sitting there for so long, a week. It was a full week during our vacation time, which is not when we're writing on Everett Raymond. So it's at the end, after the season ends. And we sat there and, what about Kevin? They have dates and all this stuff. And then Ray said, what if I saw your date eat a fly? And it was very funny, but a movie can't just be one funny idea. But then that got incorporated into the episode later, and it worked perfectly. And that first half, him watching him. Yes, and Karen, would this woman know that an episode of ELR was based on her? Very good question. And since we based a lot of the episodes on real people, I don't know. And sorry, when they are based on real life people, it seems like nobody gets offended by it. They're all complimented by. But I don't know if you can offend a woman who threatens to stab you and has an apartment filled with snakes. She might be hard to offend. If I ever see Ray, let him know that his love for the fans, as well as y'all and his family, is so amazing, touching, and is the best for that. All right, Emma, I will tell Ray I see him about 3 or 4 times a week, so I'll definitely pass that on. Yes, and I think off of that comment, I think that what comes across in spades is how much Ray is into his family in real life. Phil Rosenthal is into his family. All of the writers, for the most part, were married with kids, and it was a very family-focused show. And I think Ray and Phil both gave you that feeling on the show. And I think what's coming across here as we're doing all these lives is everybody that's on here enjoyed their time on the show, has very fond memories, etc. And I think that all stems just from the tone that Ray and Phil set for the show. All right. Questions. Ray seems very shy and humble. Yes. So Ray in real life is very shy, I would say. So Ray is much more comfortable performing stand-up for 1,200 strangers than he is having this type of one-on-one conversation. So, and just to go back, for those of you that missed it, I was talking to Ken Levine. Ken Levine is a director, writer, producer, and when Ken Levine was on Ever's Raymond, I found out that he wrote on MASH and was the head writer for a while. And so that I was thrilled to death. So I ended up, because I'm very interested in the history of shows, etc., talking to Ken a lot. And so I was very excited to have Ken return. And Ray, I just happened to be at Ray's house. And I think for those of you watching, I know I've brought it up before, but Ray does zero social media. So Ray, I've tried to convince him, he just doesn't want to do social media, and I get it. So he's not, I just can't get him on Instagram. So I happened to be in his house, and he just wandered in to the room I was in, and he was like, off camera, you couldn't see him, like, who are you talking to? Like, what is going on? So, but it was very nice, and Ray will come back at some point. Well, I just have to be in his house or on his wife's Instagram or one of his kids' Instagrams. Yes, Ray said he'd be back for a full hour, so we are going to hold him to it. Absolutely. I can guarantee you it will be after football season, because football is played on Sunday exactly when we are doing these lives. Hello, yes, I'm saying hello. It would be great to have Ray and Anna on live. Yeah, they are funny together. Speaking of bedroom, why does Ray always take off his ring before sleeping? Is that a real habit? Excellent question, Leo. I don't know. So when we did the episode called Ray's Ring, that was based on real life, where he often takes off his ring for no reason, and, well, for this reason, he spins it. So in the writer's room, he would take off his ring and spin it. Now, whether at night he sleeps with it off, that's a great question that I don't know the answer to, and I will ask him. And it also, when you're acting, there's something called physical business, which is just another way of saying you're doing something. So getting into bed, you'll notice that that Deborah's putting on hand cream and doing stuff. It's just physical business to add a little bit of life to that scene. So you can't go overboard and go crazy, but anything that gives the character something to do while they're talking, because in real life, you're very seldom face-to-face in a casual conversation looking right at them. So it makes it feel much more organic to watch that. Yes. Hello, Karen. You watched Ray's stand-up right here around the corner. He was brilliant. Would love to go to those venues if you ever get to New York, Greenwich Village. Yes. So, Karen, for those of you that don't know what she's talking about, on Netflix, Ray did a special called Right Here Around the Corner. And the title comes from, there's a place called the Comedy Cellar, which is one of the first places that Ray did stand-up in New York. And then it became so popular, the Comedy Cellar, that they had to open up another venue around the corner. So Ray said it as a joke. While he was performing, he's like, I started right here around the corner. So it's a great, if you ever get a chance, go to the Comedy Cellar in New York. It's in Greenwich Village. It's a little club downstairs. At the top is a place called the Olive Tree Cafe, not to be confused with the Olive Garden. And the gentleman that started it, his name was Manny. He has since passed on, but he was a very good friend of Ray's. And indeed, when Ray first hosted Saturday Night Live, he said, you know what, at the end, for those of you that have never seen Saturday Night Live, at the very end, the talent comes out and does a bow, and you see the whole cast around them and the musical performer, etc. So Ray said, hey, I want to wear a Comedy Cellar t-shirt. So he called them up and said, hey, send me a Comedy Cellar t-shirt. They didn't even have them to sell at that point. But if you go back, if you look on YouTube, the first time Ray guest hosted SNL, he is wearing a Comedy Cellar t-shirt. So that would be a lot of fun inside information. All right. Scrolling through here. Are there any current events / storylines you would have loved to tell if the show were on the air now versus back then? Well, we talked about this, I think, in the past. At the end of the series, it was tough because Phil and Ray wanted to go out on top. Peter Boyle was not feeling well. And at the very end, we were pitching ideas because for everybody that worked on the show, every single episode, you're losing your job. So every extra episode is more pay. It sounds very mundane and banal, but that is the truth. So we really were trying, like, let's come up with these episodes. Let's come up with these episodes. So the new ideas that you're thinking about can't include Peter. So in your imagination, yeah, every once in a while you're like, okay, maybe this, and nothing is coming to my head specifically. But when bad stuff happens, and we've said this many times before, writer Lou Schneider used to say, the worse our lives are, the better the show is. And then once the show ended, we just have bad lives that we can't make into a good episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. So, but there are potential storylines that I know we text each other, the writers, and Ray will share stories. We're like, oh, if we only had the show on the air. So, yes. And one thing that when Ray came on, I didn't ask him what he's doing, but he's doing about what he's doing. He wrote his own movie and he directed his own movie, and hopefully it'll be out soon. It's great, but he's also on I think it's HBO Max, called Made for Love. So if you haven't seen it, it's a crazy show. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. But don't expect Everybody Loves Raymond. It's kind of it's a completely different show. Some of the episodes you pitched to keep it going. Leo, only because these questions go away. Let me repeat it completely. Can you comment on some of the episodes you pitched to keep it going? I remember I had an idea about Ray worrying because he dreamed that something dreadful happened and he was worried that it might happen in real life. And one of the writers said, oh, they did that on Taxi, I think it was. So that was an idea which was good, but had already been done. And in fact, there were some episodes that there was I may have told this story before, the model episode, which happened in real life. So writer Steve Scrovan told the story about getting his headshot taken, and then they completely disappeared. The company, it was like a rip-off company. It was somewhere in Cleveland or something. So the model episode where Robert's in the basement getting his picture taken, that was a great, funny episode. And Ray and I were doing, years later, we were doing stand-up, and we got back to the hotel, and there was a Seinfeld episode on. And it was there was one scene where I think it was George was posing with his shirt, and I said, oh, to Ray, this is years after we did it. We had no clue that they did. I don't know the Seinfeld story, but there are. But it was similar. So that is the long-winded way of saying you, as a show, can do similar storylines because you're trying to do something that's relatable. And so there's only so many things that happen in real life. Is Ray interested in the next generation of films directors? Because he was such a big inspiration to your screenwriting, and it's always nice to see now who cares for the next generation. Yes, you're calling Ray old. I'm going to tell him that. No, in all seriousness, I mean, if those, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Paddleton. Paddleton was a movie that was starring Ray and Mark Duplass. I've mentioned it before, but it was directed by a young director named Alex Lehman, who is really good. So, yes, is Ray and Phil are always watching new stuff that comes out. And I think if we made anything clear, it's very hard to sell a show. It's very hard to get anything made. So it's not, it's always a challenge for Ray, for Phil, for anybody of any level to get something made. So they're watching, but also they're in competition with every other producer writer who's trying to make something. Paddleton broke your heart, and Ray's crying scene was amazing. Yes, I was there for the whole Paddleton shoot. It was a very, very poignant thing. It is a sad movie. It's a great movie. It is a sad movie. So don't go into that movie looking for a fun romp with your kids. But it is really, really heartfelt movie. Right. These are all great questions today, everybody. I'm going to run out of time because I want to try and keep it to a half hour. Did the writers ever pitch an idea where Frank died? Ooh, since Peter was sick at the end. Well, so we didn't know what was wrong with Peter, and we just saw him. We knew something was wrong, but we did not know until after the show ended that he had multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer. So no, there was never, ever, ever talk of Frank not being around. Did Ray and Bob Saget ever work together? Yes. Ray, we were talking about it because it was right after last week's live that that the news came across, and we were both shocked. So Bob Saget had a charity that he did. His sister died of scleroderma, and so he had a charity a comedy event to raise money for that. And Ray did that a couple of times. He did it twice. The last time he did it, Dave Chappelle was there. I will post some pictures. Let me know if you want to see some pictures of Bob Saget. I don't know if I have any pictures of Ray with Bob Saget, but Dave Chappelle on stage with Bob Saget, etc. So, and then Bob Saget came to the set of Ed Brothers Raymond once. He was visiting, I think, he was visiting Ray's manager, Rory Rosegarden, who was friends with Bob for like 30 years. So, and I remember hanging out with Bob, and I remember him going into Ray's dressing room with us, but Ray doesn't remember that because we mentioned it briefly. But he was I only met him briefly twice, and he was by now you've heard so many accounts of how warm and friendly he was, and that was my experience as well. Let's see. Yes, Bobby. Ray was getting laughs without saying anything in that episode. A great homage to Jack Benny. Absolutely. The She's the One episode was the language at the bottom of the stairs, was the luggage at the bottom of the stairs. That was based on real life. It was hysterical. Yes, Daniela. It was, and if you go back in the records, you'll see that I talked to Tucker Cawley, who wrote that episode and won an Emmy for that episode. It was based on a real-life story where we, as the Raymond writers, were going to an event, and it called for a fancy dinner in the afternoon and then an outdoor concert with the Rolling Stone in the evening. So his wife, Tucker's wife, wanted to bring a change of clothes, so she brought some luggage, and he noticed that the luggage had not moved. It was actually in their bedroom. It had not moved for a long time, and so Phil, towards the end of the season, said, "Is anybody having a fight with their wife?" Which is how Phil got stories. And Tucker said, "Yes, I think I am," and that kicked off the luggage episode. Let's see. Great questions. Look at this. Can you tell us about the casting of the in-laws, particularly Georgia Engel, who I discovered was on the Mary Tyler Moore show in her early 20s. I loved her as Pat McDougal. Yes, Karen. Great question. So Phil, as far as I remember, Phil was a huge fan of Georgia, and it was his idea as far as I know. But remind me to ask Phil next time he is on. And then Robert Culp is, I think also, I don't know that, certainly Phil was aware of him. I don't know that he wanted to get him, if that's who he had in mind, or if Lisa Miller Katz, the casting director, suggested that at the beginning. So, Purple Aquarius 19. Do you remember Bananas in Fort Lee? Yes, I performed there many times, and I remember it well. And I have a funny story. I was once on jury duty in New Jersey, And for those of you watching that don't know, Fort Lee, New Jersey is right over the George Washington Bridge from New York City in New Jersey. So Fort Lee is in New Jersey. They had a comedy club. They had one in Poughkeepsie, and they had one in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and it was called Bananas. And there was a guy that would dress as a large banana, and he'd have to stand in front of the club, and it was in Fort Lee. It was located in a hotel, and he would hand out flyers. He was dressed as a banana. So he was a 6-foot-tall banana, and he would hang out flyers. I was picked, this is 20 years ago, I was picked for even more, for jury duty in New Jersey. So for those of you not from this country, you have a mandatory jury duty that you have to do. I don't know if it's once a year or every 2 years, whatever it is, but you have to report to jury duty. So I was on jury duty, and I got onto a trial. And the guy, one of the jurors next to me, was the guy who was dressed as a banana, handing out the flyers, which I don't know that the trial was affected by having one of the jurors be the big banana, but we found it entertaining. Georgia did a tremendous amount of stuff. Yes, don't let a suitcase full of cheese be your big fork and spoon. I think, by the way, I'm curious. I want to make some mugs. I want to make stuff because I have family who keeps asking me, why don't you have any, why isn't there Everybody's Raymond stuff? And I don't know why it was, but they just never made mugs and T-shirts to speak of, which is a crime. So I'm trying to figure out what are the favorite phrases that we could see on a mug that would be worth making. And don't forget, people, I'm going to be showing the inside of I Love You from 1996. I'm very excited to see it because that is a long, long time. Is it my imagination or did the fork and spoon change size? Yes. Hello, CJ Rossetti. Yes, it did. And I think we pinned it down on this, that it changed. Season 4, like episode 18 or something. Somebody, I asked this question before, when did it change? And it was something like that. Season 4, episode, 14 or I can't remember. But yes, you are correct. And I would like to have, Donna Stamps, who did I forget the exact word, but she basically did the set decorating. To find out why she changed it. And we talked about it, and sometimes the props aren't available. So if you're off for a year, if you're on hiatus, and all of a sudden you go back to the props department, and so here, I'll give you even the bigger picture. Ray and Deborah's kitchen and living room never changed. That set existed on stage 5 of Everest Raymond for the whole time. Season 2 until the end. So it's not like people would have the couch and all of a sudden be like, where's the couch? Where's Ray? So those were permanent. The others were called swing sets. So they would go back into the I think it's called the set dock. It's another word for it, but it's like the set dock. It's where the sets rest. So anybody can go in and be like, oh, I need a big fork and spoon. I need this. I need this. And they don't go, well, Everest Raymond might need it in 6 months. They just go, yeah, you're renting it. So there's a chance that that's what happened. All right, let me catch up on these questions. What do you do for a living? I'm a banana. Yeah, correct, Bobby. He said I'm the banana. So when you are, for those of you, just to follow that jury thing, when they're interviewing jurors, you're sitting there and they go, okay, juror number 3, what is your name and what do you do for a living? And so if you say, I'm a lawyer and I sue, but you're dismissed instantly. So this guy said, I'm a banana. I dress as a banana. That's what he said. So I guess that was very. So if you want to get out of jury duty, and that's a standing joke, because nobody likes doing jury duty, say that you work as a full-time banana, handing out stuff. I loved Ray saying to Robert, last time your family was when the wind took your balloon. Last time you ran was, yes, great quote. I liked, great, she ate it, yes. Somewhere I have a picture of us writing that beginning portion, me, Ray, and Mike Royce, writing the beginning of She's the One. I saw those girls like you had a shot. The Deborah mug. That's very funny. CJ. Hello, Courtney. She ate it. Yeah, I think she ate it would be good. God, I wish this was the wrong house. Is this about me? Good phrase for a t-shirt. So I don't know why, but the only t-shirts that they had on Everest Raymond for sale, because Ray and I used to go into the CBS store in New York, they had one picture of Brad in uniform and one t-shirt with a picture of Peter Boyle that said, "Holy crap." Nothing else. I never saw anything else. The other stuff that we got would be an occasional gift where somebody decided to put a phrase on it or something from internal mug. Oh, these are all great. Have a nice day. What contest in hell did I win? Great. These are all great. So we're talking about potential phrases for a mug. Speaking of props, Donnell, notice on their refrigerator for season 7, they had added a green frog made of construction paper. Nice foreshadowing for the She's the One. Wow. I'm glad that you saw that. By the way, I just started watching Everest Raymond on Apple, which is great. Very, very good to have it on Apple TV. A holy crap mug. Yes. Right in the garden of good and evil. Wow, these are great, you guys. I toss out this sandwich and you can call me an idiot. Deal. Great. Wow. 5 minutes ago, I was watching cartoons and eating a banana. Maybe all the time he spends with his head in the fridge keeps him fresh. These are great. I forgot how funny the show was. AIS, Ass in Seat, Jerry, Wolf, great. I can't believe I shaved my legs for, yes, great. That was the sneeze, great. Geez, Lou, we say that all the time. Wendell Poons, great. Yes, I think AIS. She ate it. You lied. Deborah, a lie of love. Yes. These are all, wow, I can't even keep up. Phil is a big foodie. Yes, watch Phil. So I realize that a lot of you fans who've been watching for a long time know everything that we're talking about. But Phil has a show called Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. I recommend you watch it. And so Phil is a foodie. Yes, the set food was great. Yes, we had a great reputation in Hollywood of having really good food. And Phil would occasionally order stone crabs from Miami, Joe's Stone Crabs, and other type of things. Yes, so I can't talk. There's too much fruit in the house. Great. AIS, so sucking up the youth. That was actually a real phrase that Ray's father would say. So Ray's father in real life would smell, for those who don't remember, he would smell in the pilot, he's smelling the kids' heads. And so he would say, "I'm sucking in the youth," and smell the twins' heads. Is this about me? Great. I have a question. I heard somewhere, hello, Giggle Mia. I have a question. I heard somewhere that they made a joke where Phil and Brad, I have to, but you, what was behind that joke? Okay. So that joke is just a very old, I'm going to call it like a vaudeville, a vaudeville joke. It's just this. This is the joke. A guy walks in on his best friend in bed with his wife, and he says to his best friend, "I have to, but you?" That's the joke. Like, I have to sleep with her because she's my wife, but why would you? It's a joke. It's a wife joke. Yes, need more Parmesan cheese. By the way, I'll see if that's a callback to Look, Don't Touch episode, the tag from Look, Don't Touch. Did Brad Garrett actually cry when Deborah told him he had 3 weeks with his parents? He only had 3 weeks with his parents. I don't know. Yes, annoying would be great. You moved his regular. Yeah. So let's before we run out of time, I'm already over the 30-minute. So here we go. I love you. I know it's backwards for you guys. I Love You, written by Phil Rosenthal. This says August 7th, 1996. That's the date of the table read, which kicks off the week. So the reason I'm fascinated by this is, and I wrote in the entry, every season people write pilot episodes of the series. So the Evers Raymond pilot had the Food of the Month Club and everything that I was just addressing. Then when the show gets picked up, you have to write the show. So Phil wrote the first regular, when I say regular season, not the pilot. So that is from that. Emma, you were not alive yet? Interesting. All right, let's take a look. So this is from Ashley, who was in wardrobe. I want to get Ashley on here, but I don't think she is on Instagram. So here we go. You guys have heard this is the yellow cover. That means it's the shooting script. And there it says, indeed, shooting script, and it's backwards. For you guys, August 12th, 1996. Yes, my wife thinks I'm in the bathroom. All right, let's look at this. What do we have here? Oh, that is Raymond. So you have to remember that at this point, the show is not a hit, and we don't even know if it's going to get, I think the first order was for maybe 9 episodes or something like that. There's Ray, and it says teaser, okay? Teaser is the beginning of the show. There's another one of Ray. Try and get rid of that reflection. Great. And again, for those who have never seen this, I have all of the wardrobe copies of the series, and they would take Polaroid pictures for continuity so that if you had to reshoot a scene, you knew what they were wearing. There's Raymond. It doesn't say the scene, which is interesting. So it might be the same scene. He just has his jacket on. So we are looking at 24 years ago. So here is Raymond again. And I have mentioned this in the past, that the wardrobe people, they want to be as innocuous as possible. So they'll say flashing, and they'll come in, and Ray might be talking, or any actor might be talking to Phil or the director. And so a lot of times in these photos, they're not, the cast member is not looking at the camera. But I think this is, so here's that. Yes, Ray, and it doesn't say the scene. So there is Ray. Okay, it says we did not shoot. So there is Ray on a phone. There we go. Did we say? Let's see. Brad Garrett. Oh, I don't remember this. I guess his shower didn't work or something happened. So there's Brad. You guys can remind me. And there's Brad again, season 1. Looks like Peter Boyle is next to him. Interior kitchen. Scene D3 and scene H. All right, let's see. Peter Boyle. Great. Peter Boyle. There is a very healthy-looking Peter sitting on Ray and Deborah's couch, which currently is at Ray's house in real life. There's the bathroom scene. I love you. And I do know that I'll have to talk to Phil about it, but Ray's father did not say I love you to him, and so I think that was kind of the genesis of that episode. One of the twins' babies, and that is the wrangler for the kids, as they call it, Susan DeFabre holding one of the twins. And let's see if there's another. Yep, so there's the other twin. There we go. These are great. All right. Patricia Heaton. So there's Patty. Deborah in, so interior. There's her outfit. And that must be, it looks like, I can't tell what scene that is, but you guys will remember. Yes, that is a long time ago. From the I Love You episode, for those of you just joining, we're looking inside the I Love You episodes. We're looking at the wardrobe department photos here. Also, Patty. Let's see if we can get the... and I will take pictures as usual and post these on there. And for those of you, again, wardrobe department takes these pictures. They take really, really extensive notes because everything has to match. And throughout this week, as they're making it, they'll figure out the wardrobe. Patty, this is the wardrobe. So for those of you that have watched any movie or series and you go, wait a minute, his sleeves are up there, or he wasn't wearing that thing, that is a continuity problem, and that's what you're trying to avoid. So the wardrobe department has to know everything. And also, so there's Patty again, scene D. Get rid of this glare. All right. And also what they have to have is they put the clothes on the hanger for that scene. So when it's live and you have the live audience, you can't waste time with a scene change and go, hey, where's that sweater? I don't know. Where is that sweater? So they have to have it. Here we go. Doris, looking great. And we already talked about For Some Reason. That is a classic Doris outfit there. Another classic Doris outfit there, and you can she's behind the set. You can see Marie D3. So again, this is August of 1996, and there's Madeline Sweeten. I can't tell if she's holding Patty's hand, and Madeline Sweeten also. Scene B. Interior living room, interior ELR. So there is Madeline Sweeten. That is great. So someone said, did I miss Maggie? No, I don't think I've gotten to Maggie yet. And there's another one of Madeline Sweeten, who plays Allie, based on Ray's... Oh, Speak of the Devil. Here, there is Maggie Wheeler, who played Linda on Ever's Raymond and also Janice on Friends. That is a good shot. I guess they tried to make her feel a little bit Queens, Brooklyn-ish, very New York. And I will have to send that to Maggie. And this is, and here's the extent. I know it's backwards for you, so sorry. I will post some of these, but there's an extensive description of what she's wearing, and if she has earrings, yes. So she has to show what she has on her bracelet, her nails, her earrings. They try and get all of that at once. So for those of you, yes, she played Elaine's friend on Seinfeld. Awesome. That means there must. So here is Phil Rosenthal and Monica's old friend, Susan Barron, who's in there. She plays Susie. So that's Nemo's Pizzeria, named after Ray's dog. And then there's background, all these background players who will be people that you don't know. But we should have a Bernie shot in here, because wherever there's Linda, there is Bernie. So I owe you a Bernie shot. Don't know where that went. Interesting. So that is a peek. Now, and there's, just so you know, that's all the background players also have to be photographed for continuity as well. So that, a never-before-seen peek inside of the I Love You episode. I'm trying to see if I can find, but I can't. Let me know which ones of those that I just showed you are your favorites, and I will post them. I will take pictures of them. Ah, here we go. Tom McGowan as Bernie. There's Tom McGowan as Bernie, looking very Queens, New York, 1996. The inside of the I Love You episode. Let me go through any other questions that I missed. What is our time? Wow. Whatever happened to Nemo when he go away? According to Marco, we don't know. The truth was, the real actor was not long for this world. Didn't Ray? Yes, Ray's real life daughter played Allie's friend. I think Polly is her name in the show. Absolutely. And a lot of people say, hey, why did the daughter have blonde hair? Because Ray's real life daughter also had blonde hair. Were Patricia's kids in any episodes? Great question. As far as I know, they weren't, but they might have. If they were, it might have been in the background of the T-ball episode or something like that. But as far as I know, I don't remember. We'll have to ask Patty. I was texting with her, and hopefully she can come on in February. Inside was yes, best friends. Yes, Jennifer Grey and Maggie Wheeler were best friends. She also played Elaine's friend. Yes, correct. Why were there different twins? They switched out the twins because they felt that they were getting older, and also with Madeline Sweeten having twins, it was easier to have one family. So multiple reasons for them to have it. Yes, I was in a few episodes in the background, and I was in Nemo's, and I was in Robert's Wedding as a photographer, and also The Recovering Pessimist. I introduced Marv Albert. So yes, I think Marie said he didn't like to stay in the house by himself, so he was showering there while they babysat. Interesting, Donnell. Great. Channel 4 provides us with episodes every morning at 8 a.m. Yes, great. That is great. All right. Final question. Why don't comedy shows have theme songs like they used to? Is it to save time? So I think some of them do, but for the most part, if you watch shows, a lot of times you have to cut it for time. So at the beginning of Friends, we're in the fountain. I don't know if they ever cut that ever for time, but on Ever's Raymond, Phil would sometimes come down from editing going, we're 30 seconds long. We're not going to show the opening credits. So you're doing everything for time, but I don't know. Do a lot of shows not have theme songs, sitcoms? I don't know. If Phil ended up taking the kitchen table, did you end up taking anything from the show when it ended? I did not take, I don't think so much. When I say that, there was one point, so I took 0 from the show while it was on the air and right after the show, but then there was a point, and I'll discuss it in detail in the future, but there was a point years after the show ended that and it's almost, you want this to happen, a locker with all Raymond props was found on the Warner Brothers lot somewhere, the ranch or something. So all of a sudden, there were tons and tons of props from Ever's Raymond. And so I took a couple then, but they were literally, and I know it's for those of you watching who are super fans, the idea of being able to take Raymond props would be great. You know, you'd be like, wow, I can get it. And so that's when I had some props, but I didn't. I think I have the bread box that's over Frank and Marie's kitchen, over the refrigerator in their kitchen, the brown bread box, and there's a silver thing, a couple of small things like that. But I took photos, and that was my thing. Who took the big fork and spoon after it wrapped? Tucker Cawley, who wrote the episode, has the big fork and spoon. And the wall that it was mounted on, if you go back and search for Tucker, you can see Tucker holding that up on camera, the actual fork and spoon. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to take these suggestions for mugs. The canister. I don't know who has the canister. I have to look. Yes, Paula, the theme song for Hawaii Five-0, great. The canister was written by an outside writer who was in the room, and I'll have to ask, but my guess is that perhaps Donna Stamps, who hopefully we can have on, will be able to tell us the canister. There were 3 canisters, I remember. The large sculpture from the sculpture episode, there were 2 of those. Doris had one of those, so I think my guess is maybe Donna Stamps has the other one. So, all right, thank you so much. Please remember, write your questions. I'm hoping that maybe the cookie lady, Amy Aquino, will be able to join us next week. And I know you guys have been looking forward to that for a long time. All right. Every quotes. Yes, Donnell, every quote would be great, but I'm sure other people will be chiming in. That would be a huge help. Quotes for a mug. I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you next week. Spread the word also on Facebook. Everybody's Raymond 360 on Facebook. Sometimes I put up a few more photos because it's easier for me to put them up there. Thanks for all of your great questions, and we will see you next week.